Hello BookTube and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with the Friday reads. I don't know about you guys, but I am so happy it's Friday. It has been a crazy long week, or at least it's felt that way, even though it's only been 4 days. Me, like most people, I think we were off on Monday because New Year's Day fell on a Sunday, so we got the Monday off of work. And it's just been like so busy. And the temperature got so cold here. We went from like +6 to -9 in the same day. The snow was starting to melt, so there were like puddles like on the parking lot at work. And then by the time I left work that night, those puddles had completely frozen over. So now, hence the reason I've got the warm, comfy cardigan on right now. No, I did not knit this. I wish I was that good. I've never actually done color work or anything like this. That's one of my goals for 2017, so we will see. But anyway, let's get into what I am reading this week. What I wanted to do with my Friday reads in this year is talk to you guys about every Friday, tell you guys, update you on how many books I've read, and let you know how I'm doing on my 100 pages a day challenge, and talk about how many pages I've read so far this year. So I'm going to update this as every Friday when I do these, so you can kind of see my progress. I am super pleased. I've actually already finished 2 books this year. To be fair, the first one I started on New Year's Eve, so it wasn't technically the first, but I did finish it on like Monday or Tuesday, I think, and I loved it. I'm not going to go into, that was The Duke and I, not The Duke and I, it was The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. Loved it. And then I finished another book, and that was Highland Heat by Jennifer Haymore. That one, not so much. I will get more into what I thought about these books. This isn't a wrap-up. I'm just letting you guys know what I read in the previous week. I'll do like a full wrap-up at the end of the month. But if you guys are ever interested to know my thoughts like right away as to what I thought about a book, please go and check out my reviews on Goodreads, because one of my goals, another goal this year, is to actually put something in the review instead of not like how I used to do it was just give it a star rating and like shelve the book and be done with it. But now I'm actually trying to put a review. Now, like I think I've said before, these are not 500-page essays or 500-word essays. These are quick, some little thoughts about it, and it's more to trigger me when I do my wrap-up as to, I don't know what's going on with that piece of hair right there, sorry. To trigger me when I'm doing my wrap-up of what I want to talk about when I do the wrap-up. So you guys kind of get a sneak peek if you're checking out my reviews. So yes, and because Goodreads doesn't give you the option of doing a half-star rating, I put that right at the top of my review, what my actual true rating is, so you guys can check that out. So, like I said, 2 books have been read this year. I'm on track according to Goodreads, and I have read a grand total of 601 pages, and I am now at day 5. As of yesterday, I was at day 5 of 100 pages a day, and I'm super pleased with that. The one thing I noticed is that I'm not knitting as much, which is fine because I wanted more of an equal balance between the two. But I am still getting a lot of progress done. I mean, it's surprising the amount of time that you find that you're typically wasting sitting on Facebook or on games on your phone or what have you. You know, like if I'm just sitting and watching TV, there's something I want to watch, like every night I'm trying to watch a CSI New York episode. When I'm watching that, I'm knitting. But, you know, if I'm just sitting quietly, I'm reading, and I love it. I'm so pleased. I know we're only 5 days in, but fingers crossed I can maintain this for the rest of the year. So, what am I actually reading? You guys might be interested. So the first book I want to talk about is actually my audiobook. As I told you guys again in my TBR for January, I'm not going to tell you guys about the audiobooks that I plan on reading that month, because some of these books might take 2 or even 3 months to listen to. Because I really do have a limited amount of time to listen to audiobooks, I listen to them on my way to work, which is typically only a half-an-hour drive. On my way home at night, I typically listen to music because I need to detox. And listening to an audiobook kind of gets my brain working in the morning and gets me, you know, focused for the day. On the way home, I just want to chill and not have to think about anything. So the first audiobook, I went through my books, my audiobooks that I still had to listen to, and I have this one, a couple by Edward Rutherford. I'm not sure, another one about the occult, which sounds very, very interesting, which I might get to come October. But this one was the oldest one that I had bought, and I actually bought this one last summer in anticipation of reading it for the summer book bingo, but that never happened. So the book I'm currently listening to is called The Valley of Amazement by Amy Tan. She is the author of the Joy Luck Club. This is a saga-type family story. And so far I'm only about an hour and a half through it, and it's about a 25-hour long audiobook. So might take me a couple months to finish. Is following a Westerner, a white woman, who is living in Shanghai, who has opened a courtesan house. And the story is told from the eyes of her 7-year-old daughter, living with them in this courtesan house and what she sees. So that's as far as I am right now. Like I said, it is a generational, like, family saga. So as it goes on, you will hear more from different people, I'm assuming. The narrators, I don't remember the name of the narrator of the young girl, but the narrator for the mother's voice is actually, I think her name is Joyce Bean, and she narrates the the Lakeshore Chronicles series by Susan Wiggs, which I listened to Summer at Willow Lake last year, so I do know her as a narrator. And the other narrator is actually the author, Amy Tan. So that's super exciting and interesting. And like I said, so far I'm really enjoying this. This kind of book is right up my alley, and so far, like I said, I enjoy it. The other book that I'm currently reading, I literally just started this book last night, and I stayed up a little bit to read it, a little bit too late actually. And I'm about 15% of the way through it, and that is The House of Silence by Sarah Barthel. This is, I believe, her debut novel. It's really funny. I have my list of books that I've picked for the month of January for my TBR, and what I'm doing is randomly picking from that list. I actually use the randomizer feature, like the app on my tablet, and I'm picking like from 1 to however many numbers are left and just pulling, so that's the next book. I'm not reading them in any kind of order. It's completely random. But like the first book was The Viscount Who Loved Me, which was historical. The second book was Highland Heat, which is historical, and now this one is historical. All this week, I've been spending time in the 1800s. One in England and Scotland, and now in the U.S. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with what this story is about, it's about this woman named Isabel, and she's engaged to be married to a man named Gregory. She witnesses him doing something horrible. I know what it is now. Like, we've gotten past that part, but I don't want to get into that. And pretty much her family is still telling her, you're a liar, and, you know, he didn't do this thing, you're imagining it, you need to marry him. Well, essentially, she doesn't want to marry somebody who did that thing. So, she decides to become a mute, like, subconsciously, maybe? I don't know, I haven't gotten to that part of the book yet. And she becomes a mute, and then ends up getting, because as it was back in the it was 1875, I think this takes place, she was sent to an asylum, essentially. And at that asylum, she meets and befriends a much older Mary Todd Lincoln, the widow of Abraham Lincoln. And I actually did some quick research online when I started reading the book. And yes, in fact, Mary Todd Lincoln, I did not know this, was put into the sanitarium, or institutionalized, essentially, when she kind of went a little eccentric. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but she did spend some time there. It wasn't a lot of time, but she did spend some time in an asylum. So that is very, very interesting. I love the fact that they're pulling reality and moving it in with the fiction. I think it's really interesting. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the author's debut novel. So far, I'm really enjoying it. The writing style is really great, and it's flowing, and the pacing is really, really good. So obviously, stay tuned for my thoughts on this one at the end of the month. So anyway, that's all I'm reading this weekend. I do not have an extremely busy weekend plan. I have yoga class tomorrow morning at the hospital. Yes, I take yoga at my local hospital because I'm part of a study group for those of us with congenital CHD, congenital heart defects, which I am one of those people. And they want to see how yoga affects our health and our lung capacity and all that stuff. So I had to have testing done before. Now we're doing the yoga, and then I'll have more testing done afterward to see if I've had any improvement. I'm all for something that's not requiring you to pop a pill. I take a lot of medication as it is, and if this is something that can prolong my life and make it better, I'm all for it, and it's yoga. I've been a fan of yoga since I was like in my teens. So I'm doing that. I don't know what we're doing in the afternoon, probably just relaxing. And then Sunday I'm going over to my aunt's and my grandmother's for some visiting. I almost said for visitation, which just sounds horrible, but for some visiting. But yeah, that's pretty much my entire weekend. It's going to be really laid back, and after the rush of the holidays, you absolutely need that, and this is probably coming down on the weekend, which makes me sad because I love the lights on it at night. Like during the day, it's kind of strange looking, but at night, I always love the lights. I just think it's pretty. So I actually have some lights around. You guys can see the bottom of the window here. I got some lights around this window. Oops. My cat just went, what? I might leave the lights up around the window just because on a cold winter's night, because let's face it, Christmas happens at the very beginning of winter. We still have, especially here in southern Ontario, many, many more months of winter. There's just something about those pretty lights around the window when it's a cold, cold night outside. So I think those might stay up. But anyway, this might be one of the last times you guys see the tree this year until next Christmas. So that is it for me. This video went entirely longer than I anticipated it to. I have to make my breakfast and my lunch and get out the door for work. So until my next video, guys, take care and happy reading and have a fantastic weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.